Well, Henshaw here again, Constitutional Crisis Channel. Another kind of a quick video here on current events, and this one includes the issue of quote-unquote rent control. Now that, to a dyed-in-the-wool conservative like me, is anathema, because that's taking of property rights. But the difference nowadays is that we don't have the capitalist system we had where you have supply and demand or anything close to it. Even more important, and this is especially true in California at the present time, where the landlords are hiking the rents out of, in the atmosphere because the stratosphere because they think they can do it. Because they have what they think is a large market that wants to get into apartments and supply and demand. Well, the problem with that is, and this is the kind of argument that renters and tenants should be making to their local governments in particular, is that the landlords misconstrue the whole situation thinking they have property rights in their real estate. They don't. Think about it. How can they, if the de facto national government thinks that you're a quote-unquote taxpayer and they can tax you out of existence without an administrative hearing, for Christ's sake, and the Supreme Court has said they can do that? They really did. I'll get you the case before the video's over. I'll get that one for you. It's amazing. But they can do it. So the government has total control over you as a quote-unquote taxpayer. They do not recognize your right to your property in the form of your time and labor. How is it that a landlord could have any right in their property under those circumstances? By the way, the Supreme Court case, you can look it up, Enochs, E-N-O-C-H-S versus Williams, 370 U.S. 1. They really said this. If you're a taxpayer, see you later. You're out of there. What they don't tell you is, and the right argument to make, and it's historic another day, but if you go into a tax court, that's an Article 1 tribunal. That's not an Article 3 court. If you try to go into a district court these days, that's not an Article 3 court either. That's a territorial tribunal. That's why I'm striving so hard to get into a federal circuit court. If we do that, the game is over for the IRS and just about any other alphabet agency that you can name. But to get back to the rent control issue, and like I say, I would never have been in favor of this earlier in life, but I get it now. That if we don't have rights, the landlords can't possibly have them, and who really owns the property is the state, quote unquote. They may have the right of possession, but they don't have the right of possession and ownership. And you can look it up in your Black's Law Dictionary, Droit, D-R-O-I-T, D-R-O-I-T. That's the right of possession and the right of ownership. Nobody has that these days because Congress declared the bankruptcy of the United States in 1933. And from that, everybody is now a hypothecator of goods or stipulator in the Admiralty, and Congress controls all of the property. That's the type of argument that we need to be making, especially in our local city councils and our board of supervisors and what have you, where we can get some control over these issues and figure out ways to keep, the rents within the realm of possibility for most people. That may or may not involve a direct relationship with the quote-unquote minimum wage, another anathema as far as I'm concerned. But there has to be some equity in it because most of us out there are the ones that the Constitution was ordained and established to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Not the fat cat bastards in New York, not the artificial corporations, and not those who have gotten in there with money they didn't make and have bought all this real estate property and think they own it. This is the way to turn the tide, and I will have more to say about this on a later video. Thank you.